Here we've got Beckett just out here hanging out in the office with us, and he's not in any type of obedience. He's just getting to be what we would call a house dog, just hanging out, making good decisions. We won't let him do things like destructive behaviors, like scratching, destroying objects or toys or stuff, or things that would be considered dangerous, like trying to bolt out of a door or chewing on an electrical cord. And also we won't let them do things that are rude, right? So jumping on people, counter surfing, getting in the trash can, those things would fall under dangerous, destructive, or rude. If he does do those, we can simply tell him no, and then we will have our, he knows that word. He was like, oh shit, what did I do? We will have our remote training collar. When you're home, you'll have that on him, and you would tell him no, and then you would, if you needed to, follow that up with a low-level stimulation on the e-collar to reinforce it. Now, the reason we wanted to start filming now is because what I'm going to have Sammy do is get ready to go for the walk, right? So I know that was one of the issues. So this is a good example. He's laying down, chilling. So the reason I said all those things at the beginning, what we don't let him do is that's going to be the same rules for when we are getting ready to go. If we start getting our sweatshirt off of the, if we get our sweatshirt off of the coat rack, he would be allowed to follow us over there. He'd be allowed to kind of check out, maybe sniff around what we're doing, which is great. This time he didn't make that decision. And as we would be putting our shoes on and getting his equipment on, if at any point he does something that's going to be dangerous, destructive, or rude, we would quickly correct him with the word no, and then be able to follow that up with a leash correction or a remote training collar correction. All right, so now as you go ahead and sit down, Sammy, and you've got some equipment there, I think what we'll do is just invite him over with like a little bit of a informal, just come here, buddy. He gets some love, and then as we go ahead and get his collar going on, you'll see that it's okay if he's a little bit interested in what you're doing, but we don't want him to interfere, right? So if he's pawing or mouthing or biting, we would tell him no, and we would discourage that type of behavior. We've done this a bunch of times, so you see he's doing very well. Excellent. And now we are ready to go for our walk or our outing, and we have a good buddy. And so while we're kind of waiting for cars to come, we can just demonstrate a little bit of what it's like to be out with Beckett off leash. Now we have him dragging a light line. You'll be going home with a 15-foot drag lead for him, so you'll have something like that as well. You see he's just naturally making the decision to kind of hang close to Sammy and be such a good boy, because that is always a wonderful option for the dog. And then we encourage him to go do some exploring. Okay. Encourage him to go do some exploring, maybe sniff around. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. And what we'll demonstrate is once he gets kind of, we call it go out, come back. So we want him to go out, explore, do some experiences, and then come back to us. So I might try to get him to follow me a little bit. Hey, Beckito, who's a good boy? Yeah, that's a good boy. That's my good puppy. Yeah, such a good buddy. Good. And while he's over here sniffing around and like maybe I'll try to, he's just doing so good. He's doing so good.
Good boy.
And there's his recall.
Good boy.
All right, so he comes to Sammy, stays in her personal space, just beautiful. If he were to try to walk away at that point, we would quickly tell him no, come, and again give him a correction if we needed to, but he is not allowed to leave once we do a formal recall. Go ahead and release him there. All right, then she releases him with a happy okay, which he's then allowed to get goofy and joyful and get that love. Very nice. Very nice. Now, one thing to note is we also use what we call informal commands. Something like Beckett this way would mean move in our direction or head this way, but you do not have to do a formal recall. So that's an informal command. Also, you can say things like go lay down or that's enough, which are kind of catch-alls. Excellent. Very good. Go ahead, heel with them a little bit. So good. So that turns into walking, and he's doing beautifully. when we do have a car coming by,
Good
we're going to do what
boy.
we call name and explain. So we'll hop off to the right side of the road. We will oftentimes step on the leash just to give ourselves a little bit of added security. Now, Sammy's going to say, hey, there is a car, and then to leave it, right? So this is name and explain. So this will be, there's a car.
Beckett, that's a car.
Yeah, leave it.
That's a car.
And she can,
Leave it.
yep, and then we'll start giving food. Very nice.
Good.
Very nice.
Good.
So we call this name and explain. We're not under the impression that the dog is going to just completely ignore and not be aware of these vehicles going by. We want them to acknowledge that they're there and then have an optimistic or kind of neutral response to it. So we're going to have that car pass by again, and you'll kind of get to see the process. Very nice.
Beckett, there's a car. Leave it.
Excellent.
Good boy.
Yeah, and yeah.
Good boy. Good.
Fantastic.
Good boy.
Now, one thing I did want to note about Beckett is what we've learned is he does have a limit to this. So there's two things I'll point out. Number one is the intensity of the stimulation. What I mean by that is the proximity of the car, the speed and size of the car. And if you consider that if there's a big car going really fast, really close, that's more difficult than a small car going slow further away. So take those things into consideration. The other thing is there's a limit to like how long he can do these exercises. So we're going to have this car come by. Go ahead. Tell him, Sammy.
Beckett, that's a car. There's a car.
He's aware. Beautiful. Payment. Excellent. Excellent. Just fantastic. So how long we do this, if we're out for, I would say over 20 or 30 minutes, by the end I think he gets a little tired. He might get a little bit, his anxiety starts bubbling up. So, at the beginning you might want to keep this exercise short and keep these walks a little short. All right, let's heel him just a little bit more and then that'll be good.
Beckett, heel.
So he should be slightly behind us and right beside us, just looking absolutely beautiful right there. Yep, we really don't let the dog sniff a whole lot, so we tell him, good boy. He's, yep.
Good.
There he is.
Good boy. Good.
You guys get to set the pace. You get to set the direction at which you're walking.
Good.
Very nice. Sometimes dogs love to go a little faster. Very nice. And we make sure they can walk slow as well. Good. Go ahead and turn this way, Sammy, like a nice left turn. And let's have him do a sit, stay. We'll just kind of show you guys. So
Beckett, sit.
once she puts him in a downs is even better. So you tell him down, and then you can walk away.
Stay.
Now at this point, we really want you to be able to practice this where you can go away and you can be yourself, and if you wanted to do some jumping jacks or something, or just make sure he understands that when these things happen he still has to maintain his position. Then we're going to return to the dog and release him, and you see that you've got a wonderful foundation with a really wonderful boy.
Good boy. Beckett. Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
Primary reinforcer is our love and affection, so we use it strategically and we use it at the right time and for the right reasons. And then secondary reinforcers can be food and toys. And we found that we really enjoyed playing with him, especially on his walks, because, excellent, and Sammy did a great job by bringing a toy out. So he was able to maintain his composure when the car passed by 3 times. So now we want to say, hey buddy, this is what you're supposed to get fired up about. And we had some great fun teaching him the proper ways of tug. And then you'll see that, so he can be fully engaged and biting and playing, and then when Sammy says the one word of Beckett out, you'll see him let go. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead and do an out, and then we'll throw it for him. So we encourage you guys to play with him like this.
Out. Good boy.
Nice.
Good boy.
All right, let's give him a toss. So now we'll change the game to him doing more of a retrieve. So he gets to go out.
Good boy.
Let's hope he picks it up. Very nice. Now watch, Sammy lets him the whole way in. Love and affection. We do not reach for the toy. We're not going to competition for the toy. We just want him to go get it, bring it back, and get some love. There, he'll drop it, or we'll do a natural handoff.
Good job.
Excellent. Beautiful. Natural handoff occurs.
Good.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And another fetch. Yes, yes, yes. Good.
Good boy.
He might need to pee, but there you go.
Boy.
Yes. Awesome.
Good job, buddy. Yeah.
Okay, guys, and yeah, we will see you soon. Happy dog training, and welcome home, Beckett.